What up? Greetings and salutations. I go by the name of Trey, aka TreyPZ.com, at Hip Hop Snack on Instagram, and you are locked in and listening to the Hustler's Mentality Podcast, giving you everything you need to prosper mentally, physically, and financially. And speaking of financially, I have teamed up with GenerationalWealthUniversity.com, a community that discusses generational wealth, stock options, investing, business strategies, social media marketing, reselling tips and resources, and much more. So if you are trying to take advantage of growing your wallet and wealth, not only for you, but your family and future, then get over to GenerationalWealthUniversity.com and let's build wealth brick by brick. Also, I want to thank each and every one of you that continues to like, subscribe, and share everything that I have going on here at the Hustler's Mentality Podcast. Always drop a comment below showing love or high valued input is always appreciative. So I can definitely amplify the love you show me and show it back in shout outs throughout my future episodes. Just like these two, I really appreciate you, K Shay, the health and wellness hustler. At KRSTN Shay, Kristen Shay, what up, girl, on Instagram, and my sister Pamela Ann for showing me some story love earlier today. It was much appreciative. I really salute and thank both of y'all and everybody else that's participating and showing love for what I got going on over here. It's appreciated. And you know what? I'm going to continue to show that love back throughout my episodes moving forward. Now, you are locked in and tuned into the Hustler's Mentality Podcast. I'm your host, TreyPZ.com, at Hip Hop Snack on Instagram. And before we get into this fantastic episode on how you can get your music into movies, TV, and video games, I got to let you know that this whole episode is being brought to you by the Ninjagram app over at www.ninjagram.app. This Instagram software will help you automate and grow your Instagram following fast by using their auto follow, auto unfollow, auto comments, auto like, auto story views feature, and much more. Get over to www.ninjagram.app today to purchase and download the Ninjagram app and start growing your Instagram fast today. For those of you that are listening to this or watching this on our YouTube channel, when I say musicians, singer, songwriter, producer, what do you think of? The next Cardi B, the next Offset of the Migos, Megan. What about The Weeknd, Drake, even DJ Khaled? I can go on and on and on. You think of those artists that are always on the radio, right? That's what you think of when you think of musicians or rappers, singers, songwriter. You think of Beyonce. You think of those individuals that are always on heavy repeat on your Apple, your Tidal, or even your Spotify playlist. Correct? Wrong. You need to think about the window or the back door. Think of thinking outside of the box. Do not just stand at the front door of the music industry. I'm not talking about those individuals. I'm talking about those individuals that are trying to get in the back door of the music industry. Those that are sneaking through the window. Those individuals that think there's other music opportunities out there. And that's what we're going to get to right here on this episode. And if anybody tells you they're trying to do music without making any money, then they are lying. Yeah, they're lying to you. Now, this episode is definitely targeted to those individuals that create or produce or even manage musicians. So if you're a music maker or a singer and songwriter or interested in becoming one, this episode is definitely for you. Earlier today, I was on a virtual presentation with Ari Herstand at Ari's Take on Instagram, the CEO and founder of the music business education and artist advocacy company called Ari's Take, along with Vo Williams. This is Vo, is his IG, a Los Angeles-based rapper, singer, songwriter, composer, and performer with music placements on major brands like PlayStation, Mercedes-Benz, NBA, UFC, and even films like Lethal Weapon and TV shows like Empire and Ballers and much more. They both shared the steps it takes and the myths involved in getting your music placed on the next big blockbuster hit TV show series or your next popular video game. Remember, stay tuned, stay focused, as this could be the next money making opportunity for you musicians, you singer songwriters, even you beat makers that are listening. So let's get to the hustle.
But what is sync licensing? Can you help people understand what sync
Sure.
licensing actually means when we talk sync?
Right.
What does that mean?
So a sync is the use of music in film, television, ads, or video games, any form of content that has picture when you're aligning music to picture. And sync licensing is when a company pays a fee in order to license the use of your copyright. So essentially they're licensing your music to use it in that kind of content. That's what sync licensing is.
Got it. Okay, cool. And just to clarify, they're not buying your music. They're not owning it. The license meaning that you still own your music. They're just paying you to license it. And I believe sync, like, is short for synchronization, meaning like they're syncing your music to the picture, right?
Exactly. A license is, think of it like renting. They're essentially renting something that you own. They can use it for that specific content for which they're licensing the music for. And then, you continue to own that music, and you can continue to license it to other projects.
And you can release it on your own on like Spotify, Apple Music, that kind of stuff, right?
100%. A lot of people think you can't, but you can.
Dope. All right. Myth number one, you have to be an established artist to be successful in sync.
I think it's a common misconception that people have that, you have to be super famous or you have to be The Weeknd in order to accomplish in the sync space, but that's just simply not true. In sync, when music supervisors are looking for music to lift picture, the music wins first before any fame or anything like that. It's all about what music is perfect for that space. Sometimes you may have a production that is asking for a name to attach to a soundtrack, which is natural. They want to, put butts in the seats, and they may go ahead and sync a famous artist in order to create intrigue for that soundtrack or to come watch that film. But for the most part, a lot of people operating in sync are people who are, brand new to the space. A lot of people get discovered in this space. I myself am not considered a traditionally established artist in the sense that, I don't tour, I don't have a huge public following, but yet I'm one of the more established artists in sync.
Number two myth: the only way to be successful in music is to get on the charts. Let's talk about, there are ways to be successful in sync without getting on the charts.
Sure.
So we have here the money in sync. So can you talk a little bit about, what upfront fees, what that means in this range? Because this range is gigantic, $500 to $150,000 per sync placement.
Yeah, that's a pretty big spectrum. So essentially, the sync fee is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the company is paying a fee to license your music in order to use it in content. The sync fee is that by definition. And yeah, it's a pretty big spectrum because different projects have different budgets, and they also have different setups and situations and perks for why they work in sync. So a company understands that, and they kind of work into their process. For example, you might see a sync fee for $500 for a show that has a ton of musical cues, like reality shows. Every turn is a new piece of music, and with that being said, obviously their budget may be a pretty sizable budget, but it's going to be divided by so many more cues than another show, which may be able to offer you more per song. The beautiful thing about that, though, on the $500 side is that regardless, you're still going to see a lot of money on the back end with your royalties, your performance right royalties. $150,000 is more like what you might see for a commercial ad for like Jeep or a trailer for a film coming out.
Gotcha. And then, you mentioned the back end. And so speak to a little bit about how that, you said the $500 sync can get you paid on the back end. How does that work? And what do you mean by that?
So essentially what happens is anytime your music is broadcast, that means that it's your sync to that content has aired on television or, anywhere pretty much terrestrial. Then essentially what's going to happen is they're going to write up a cue sheet, and that cue sheet will then signal to your performance rights organization, whether that be BMI, CSAC. Different countries and different territories have different PROs. ASCAP. They're essentially going to send that cue sheet to them and let them know, what the runtime is, what type of use it is, and that's going to pay you every rate every single time your music has shown on or has broadcast or aired.
Number 3, you need to have connections in Hollywood to get your music in films.
Well, it's true. You do not need, I think I have maybe 3 connections in Hollywood. And I've been working in this space for 10 years. You don't need to know Steven Spielberg to be in his movie. That's just simply untrue.
Okay, so number 4 myth, only certain kinds of music work in sync. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually show you some examples of all different kinds of placements and all different kinds of music in these placements. We're going to start with the show Insecure. This is on HBO, and this is Icy Girl by Sweetie.
What are you ladies doing here? Oh, you're lucky I didn't use my gun.
That's okay. We'll use ours.
All right, girls. If you want to keep working with me, the assignment, bring in the fugitive.
We obviously have a gift for this line of work. What if we become the best bounty hunters in Atlanta? What's stopping us?
Hola, Carolina.
So yeah, that was Eyes by Anna May.
I love that, and I think what's important to understand about those 2 examples is that one you have just a very straightforward top 40 sounding hip hop song with Saweetie, and then you have Eyes by Anna May, which is on the completely different end of the spectrum in terms of genre, but still it places for a trailer.
Myth number 5: if your song is released, it won't be synced. This is the question I get asked a lot.
Yeah, this is a huge one. And the answer is absolutely not. If your music is out, a lot of times that can be the way that it's discovered. And I shouldn't say a lot of times. I should say sometimes that can be the way it's discovered. So that can work in your favor. But also keep in mind that my career is a career in sync. So I'm not creating 1,000 new songs. Most of those songs have been synced in multiple different pieces of content. So the lifespan of a song is going to be that it's going to be synced in a piece of content. It's going to probably debut with that content if you decide to release it with that content. And then after that, it's out. But what you hope for is for that same song to get synced again and again and again and again and again and again. And if it's a great song and it works really well, it will. So, I have songs that have been synced. I have one song that's been synced like 700 times, I think.
Gosh.
Actually, wow. I think we're somewhere around 700 times for that one song. Yeah, and I have songs that have only synced once. I have songs that are synced 10 times, 20 times. Wow. 3 times. And all of that music, once it's synced, of course I release it because I want to ride the marketing dollars of whatever company I'm working with on that sync. So if I do something with Disney, I want to put that song out and ride those marketing dollars because nobody's going to promote harder than a Disney trailer. It's a music video. It's my music video. It's like Disney did my music video.
Number 6, and we touched on this a little bit, but you need to tour to be successful in music. This is something that a lot of the talking heads in the music industry and outside the music industry, they say, well, there's no money in recorded music anymore. You have to tour to have a career in music. How many tours have you done in the last 5 years, Bo?
None. I've never been on tour. Never ever done a tour. Yeah. I don't even know, where do you go to do that? Yeah, it's like I would ask you for that.
Read my book.
I take your class on that. No, I've never been on tour, but I'm living really well. So I think that's, again, a lot of people are taking that very traditional trajectory in terms of their careers. And I very much so, when I started, was doing that as well. I started out releasing music as an artist. I wanted to put it out. Back then it was important to get on the radio. It was important to get signed. And then, of course, it became even more important to start to tour. I broke that system completely, went right into sync. I work in sync 100%. And I live really, really, really well.
This is like what we were talking about before.
Here we go.
Typical upfront sync fees for the various kind of campaigns and stuff.
By commercial campaign, what we're talking about is your product ad. So that's basically going to be your Jeep, your Beats by Dre, your new iPhone coming out, anything that's a product that's going to require some kind of advertisement. That's a commercial campaign. That can earn you anywhere between 20 to 150,000, and I've seen even more depending on the scenario, but this is your average.
Okay,
we're talking upfront. This is your sync fee. This is the fee that you're going to command in order to license your music for that piece of content. For films, what we're looking at is in context films, right? So this is you on a soundtrack. This is you inside of the movie, right? So people go to the movies, they're watching the movie, your song is in the movie. Trailers, this is going to basically cover TV, film, video games, TV promos, just like we saw with the Teenage Bounty Hunters, and those are going to range anywhere between $10,000 to about $80,000. Gotcha. And again, that's your upfront sync fee. For a television, what we're looking at is in context television, and again, and what in context means in terms of TV is this is used inside of the show. This is not a trailer. This is not an ad campaign or promo campaign. This is you're placed inside of the actual television show. And the range for this is such a huge spectrum because, again, some shows like, MTV's Ghosted or Keeping Up with the Kardashians, reality shows like that use so much music because they have so many cues that their budgets are divided up so much more. Video games, this is your in-context video game placement. So this is like you're playing League of Legends, or you're playing Call of Duty, and your music comes on, or Fortnite, and your music comes on inside of that, right? So a lot of people are pretty shocked when they have an in-context video game placement at how low the fees are. But that's just kind of the name of the game. And, for me, I actually don't mind it. I love being immortalized by that kind of placement.
And also, this is actually a really good time to just explain the difference between each side, the master and the pub, and then the all-in fee. So what fees are we talking here?
So this is reflecting an average on your all-in fee, right? And what you mean by master and publishing is that there's two sides to a license. They have to license your master side, and they also have to license your publishing side. Typically, when they're doing sync licensing, the master side will mirror the publishing side, which is why this question is being asked. Because if you're looking at a figure like 2,000, you say, okay, well, is that all in? Meaning, is that everything? Is that you're licensing the master and the publishing for $2,000, or are you requesting a license for the master side at $2,000, which means that you're also going to pay me $2,000 for the publishing side, which means all in that sync is for $4,000.
So it's typically 50-50. It's like equal for the master, and the master, just to break that down even further, the master is who owns the recording. So if there's a record label involved, or if you're just an independent artist, you own the master. Now, the publishing, that's on who wrote the song.
And then in terms of theme songs, this is a pretty decent average to kind of go off of, 5,000 to 10,000. Again, theme songs don't pay a lot up front because your back end royalties, your performance rights royalties are going to be significant. I mean, if you look at the guy who wrote Seinfeld's theme, this guy is a multi-millionaire just off of that one theme. And it's because, again, as I mentioned previously, every single time it airs inside of that episode, anywhere in the world, they're sending money to the bank. Every single time. So if it's on in 20 different countries, and if one episode is on in 20 different countries on Monday and Tuesday night, then at the end of the week, that's 40 pings. right? Go
Right,
into
right, right.
instincts, right? In essence, this is the idea, but really it's a lot more than that. And they also command sometimes bonus fees. They can oftentimes be the bigger fee that you're going to see in your PRO statements is your theme song. For some reason, they register at a higher rate than any other kind of placements.
So how is the number 7 myth, before we get into questions and what you're just talking about a little bit more? You know, the whole touring industry was shut down because of COVID, and artists aren't really touring much unless they're doing driving concerts or something like that, or socially distanced shows. But the touring industry has been decimated. How is the sync industry handling the COVID shutdown right now?
For me, it's been incredible. I've actually gone through kind of an uptick, which I feel kind of guilty saying that. I know there's so many people, who are struggling or who have been devastated by COVID and by the shutdown. This is how they make their money. So I don't mean to be insensitive by sharing this information at all. But just to keep it 100%, I have had record weeks during COVID. What we're witnessing happening is a lot of ad agencies are sending messages to eyeballs that were once kind of diluted. That attention was diluted with work or travel or going here or going there. Now everybody's watching Netflix all day. Everybody's watching Hulu. Right. And at the height of this, everyone was tuned in. So of course, every product wants to market to you. Trailers for video games, television, film. I've seen all of this, and again, I've had record weeks.
Amazing content right there. High valued content from Vo and Ari over there. Man, it's beautiful to hear that individuals are able to capitalize and monetize some of their music. Especially if you're a musician, a producer, a singer, a songwriter. Now is the time to get your music submitted to potentially be in movies, to be in commercials, because people are at home. Sadly, we're in COVID and we're in this terrible situation with this pandemic, but it is an opportunity for individuals that hustle to capitalize on and put some extra cash in their pocket, you know what I mean, for the future, and not only for themselves, but their family. So that's what this entire podcast is about. I got to give my hats off to Ari and Vo for sharing their information. It was great to be on their virtual presentation today about their academy, and also great to hear their myths about what it takes to get your music placed into film, into video games, into movies and TV series, etc. So hats off to them again. This is the Hustlers Mentality Podcast with TreyPeasy.com, at Hip Hop Snack on Instagram. Continue to like, subscribe, and share everything that I have going on here. And please be sure to leave a 5-star positive review on your preferred podcast platform about this show. Then once you're done leaving that 5-star podcast review, get over and check out what I have going on at generationalwealthuniversity.com, a community that discusses generational wealth, stock options, investing, business strategies, and much more. Until next time, stay tuned, stay focused, and always lead with the hustler's mentality.